Let us now take a rendering preview of our float plane landing on the sea water. Since water is a transparent material, you will see after the preview that the two slender pontoons, that is the floats, will be visible through the water also in their immersed parts. And the image is gradually coming up. As you know, it takes into account all the lighting effects, so it takes time to create this image, but at the end, here we are. Take a look at the pontoons. First of all, let's now hide the sea again. We have eventually come to a point where we can use some more complex environments. We shall show you how in the next steps. Let's take a look at another great capability of the environment command, enabling you to import sceneries that are models already previously rendered and in which the materials have already been assigned. Okay, let's start by checking the scenery box. And let's go on by selecting Browse in the Scenery drop-down list. Let us now select the Museum.e3 model and let us confirm by clicking Open. The model is loaded. Let us now fit with the view and rotate the model. You can now see that the model has been inserted into the room of a museum. Now, let's open the Scenery node in order to access the scenery properties options, and let us scale the model. Let us set the scale value to 1.8. To have better access to the handler, let's set the view to left back. The scale is applied and the handler shows up contemporarily. Let us now position this scenery using the handler with reference to our object. Let us select the x-axis and then let us input minus 3000 millimeters into the delta x mini dialog box which shows up. Let's then do exactly the same with the y-axis and with the delta y mini dialog box. Eventually, let's select the XY angle handler symbol. The angle mini dialog box shows up, and let's set the value to minus 10 degrees. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. In order to complete the image, let's get a background image the same way we did before. Let us select the sunset.jpg background image. Let's confirm by clicking OK, and let's now rotate the scene a bit to appreciate it better. Next step is right-clicking on the graphics area and select the View Properties in the context menu. It's a nice scene, isn't it? Now, take a serious look at it. Our model is inside the museum, and behind the museum we have a nice background image of a sunset on a lake. Now let's select the View Properties in the context menu. In the Document Properties dialog box, the View tab is open. In the Focal Length drop-down list, let us choose the 35mm compact camera value. Let us confirm by clicking OK. We now need to load the light sets, so we start the library command, select the Light Studio tab in the left panel, and the import folder, and then let us select the Museum Light Studio and set it as current. Immediately, the lighting of the scene changes. Let us now close the rendering library. Now we only need to adjust our framing. First, set the view to front view. Then let us feed the view, type in F on the keyboard, and then let us perform a small rotation using the arrow buttons, Alt plus right arrow. We are now ready to take a rendered picture of our seaplane inside the museum. In addition, we want to show that it is possible to get the render image in a dedicated window, while the original window displaying the model remains unchanged. Then open Tools Option Properties. In the System Properties tab, select the rendering page, and in the rendering page, Separated Window, radio button. Let us now eventually select the rendering preview, and we'll get our desired picture of the rendered model inside the museum within the dedicated rendering window instead than in the original primary window of ThinkDesign. Please note how accurate the rendering performance is. Do not focus only on shadows, but on particulars, such as the images as the paintings on the wall and the effects of the reflection and transparency on the glasses of the museum windows. Take a look at it. It's really wonderful. Look at the posters behind the float plane. Reflection, transparency. One thing we can easily do by using the environment command is also to play with the scale value. With few action, we can transform a real model into a mini model on a shelf. We set the scenery scale to 13, the handle shows up, and the size of our model has been reduced by a 13 factor. We can use the mouse wheel to reduce the image size as to show it in its new sizes. As we did before, we put appropriate values in the delta X, Y, and Z mini dialog boxes. And finally, we move the image to the left by repeatedly hitting the right arrow key of the keyboard. And now we have it on the shelf. The mini model of our seaplane is positioned on the shelf. We can zoom it by typing the Z key on the keyboard and indicating the two opposite vertices of the rectangular zoom window. And we can now take the last picture. The preview is going on. And we will see our mini model position on the shelf very accurately rendered. Take a close look at how realistic the wall paint is, and how fantastic the mix of transparency and reflection in the window is. It takes time to do it because there are a lot of effects in this image. Shadows, the wall, the paintings, the pictures, the posters, transparency and reflection, and it's fantastic. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, about rendering, that's all. Enjoy.